Who's the lightest right now?
Probably me.
How much you weighing, Fern?
293, 294.
23? What are you
Yeah.
at, Zottl?
Really?
Oh. So,
On the dot.
I was 307.6 this morning. I was 312
Damn.
after work today.
I was gonna ask you what it's like being able to fit through doorways, but Fern's still the smallest one here.
No.
Are you doing 308, Fern?
Yeah. I was gonna cut down to 275, but I'd rather put up a bigger total.
Yeah.
It's all about the tool.
It was funny when we went to Cuba this year. I was very sleepy because like a 3 a.m. flight. And the guy looks at the line, he's like, "Hey, you come here." So she goes to like the small little box thing. And like, "Hey, you come here." And I'm like, "All right." So I had to go through like the big circular thing where you put your hands up. And I just walked both shoulders like head first into the freaking thing and bounced back.
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
have
"Oh
to
shit,
like
sorry,
like,
sideways. I'm not
You have to
terrorist."
walk in. You have to walk in sideways.
Yeah. I like put your hands above your head. I'm like, you think here I am.
Greg, did you change into that tank top or did you switch in? Because me and Pat are both rocking tank tops.
No, I had this on the whole time. I've been doing laundry.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
I always wear. Usually when I'm at home, I always wear tank tops.
The sizing up is already starting in the fucking Zoom meeting.
I was gonna say we should all get the Voldemort meat shirts on during this, and then I was like, wait, we're not posting any of the video. It's just going straight to audio.
I still have to do that interview. I've just been busy doing other stuff.
Faces made for audio.
Huh?
Yeah.
Faces made for audio.
Yeah. Go straight
Sultry
to Spotify,
voice.
straight to where everyone listens to their music, and then they look down on me for using Amazon Music.
You finish yours, Fern, or you said no?
What, the interview stuff?
Yeah.
I haven't done it. I've been busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
I tried answering the like what's the difference between the Voldemort meat and any other meat, and like I tried probably 10 times and ended up stumbling over my words trying to be like there's no little people or like fucked up stuff like that.
Like a polite way to say like no participation coefficient scores or
No, I just what I said, I was like, it's never happened. Well, I said it's very rare to have just the strongest people in the world on one platform battling it out. No specialty equipment, strap up and lift your fucking weight. Strongest person wins. That's what I said. I'm pretty sure I swore too.
All outside of like two people, like it would be like Ray Williams and Jesus would be like the two people that wouldn't be there that would make it like a complete like roster. You know what I mean? That's almost like the biggest flex of the whole thing is like if I like look at it, I'm just like this is like 15 deep. You know what I mean? 15, 14 people deep of just like.
Of course, you put the tank top on.
Yeah.
What's up? Sorry, don't mind me. Just it's hot in here. Canada, no winter.
It is currently snowing outside, sir.
But there's snowstorms over there.
No, it's actually been really bad. It all melted and flooded a shitload of places.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We got no winter right now.
Dry.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's what we want. It's what we want, except for the week of Christmas. Because like once you have a white Christmas, the snow can just go fuck itself.
Well, yeah, I was at the prison today working with the kids, and they're all being sad boys today. And I'm like, oh guys, look, it's Christmas, and they're still not out.
Ruthless.
Why don't I have friends?
Huh?
Oh, dude, we're your friends, man.
I'm kidding. I'm just being an asshole to people. I can't hear anything.
You don't need friends when you have people who can total 2,300.
Yeah, friends are...
This is Totals Anonymous. Hi, I'm Patrick. I totaled 2,342. No.
It's an average. That's what we came up with Craig at the first part because it was 2292, 2347, and then 2325 or 2320, whatever you had. So this is like we're looking at a still solid average here, but with the what do you like to say, Justin? With the conversion rate, it's an even 23.
You got inflation and conversion rate, it all balances out.
Did you know when you hit that second pull that it would be exactly 22.9 or 22.98, or do you think it was going to be? Were you like, oh fuck, I was off?
No, so I didn't even pay attention to the total. Like my whole goal for that meet was to take the all-time Canadian total record, and I knew I just had to go 6 for 9 if I stuck on the plan. And so I got my third squat, my second bench. So after my first deadlift, I had like an emotional dump where I'm like, I've been chasing this for 10 years. And I had to like pull my ass out of it and be like, you got to lift still. So we went for a small PR on my seconds, which was the 8:10, which should have been maybe 8:15 in hindsight. And then I just like took a swing for the fences because I'm like, I want to let out. I've been too calm all day.
I don't know if you
You were too calm all day.
Yeah.
He really was. If you think about it,
I
eyes
was.
didn't roll back into his third deadlift. His
Yeah.
eyes were so good the whole meet. It just they
Fern,
rolled back
Fern's
that
not
third
like
dead.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
but
sure if you like Google the American Pro 2, all the videos are you just like yelling and screaming after squats, bench, and deadlift, like too calm.
yes. So I was calm, like walking up to the bar. Like I was like fired up and whatnot. But if like you watch before I squatted, I like took a deep breath in, like walked through my shit, gave myself a head nod, then went under. It was only the last deadlift where I'm like, I just went and I sent it. I was like, we're going. Like, I don't care. Let's let it out. And it was great. I don't have to go to therapy for a couple months now. It's wonderful.
Just the iron keeps us from murdering people. It's cool.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
would be in the warm-up room, and I don't know how many times I heard him. It was probably at least once, like squat, bench, deadlift. Just he would like he was either a bench like warm-up or a deadlift warm-up, and he would spike the bar in, or he just jam it back in the rack, and he's just like, "Eat my dick," and he'd have his headphones on so he
Who is
couldn't hear
this?
it. Justin. It was just like he thought he was being loud, but he was being really loud because his headphones were in, so just like, "Eat my dick." Spiked the bar into the ground, dude. It was so funny.
Oh.
Hype. That fucking warm-up room was crazy.
Yeah. But it was really funny because I was, whenever I go to the States, like, so for instance, like my first Ghost Clash where like Craig was there and Shane was there, Dan was there, and Pat was there. Actually, Craig wasn't there. I think he
Craig was there.
No,
was
Craig
there.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he
He
was.
there
Yeah,
the
yeah.
second year.
Yeah.
It was like,
25
like,
squat in reps.
I honestly felt like I was coming home, and I always do when I go to the States and compete because like everybody's like super cool, right? And then the next week, kind of go to like a small meet in Toronto here, and like everybody's like death staring at each other. I'm like, what's the old problem?
That's what Pat said when he came down. He's like, "You guys like, I'm not used to this in meets in New England. Like everyone's kind of like mean, and they kind of like don't want you to do good." And I was
Yeah,
oh, that sounds terrible.
yeah,
Everyone
like,
does their best,
Yeah.
like either Chuck Vogelful or Eminem in 8 Mile impression, where they just have the hoodie up, the headphones in. They're like, "Yeah, you got one opportunity, one shot. I'm gonna go deadlift Patrick's bench."
It's complete opposite in Florida. Everyone's
Oh, yeah,
drinking,
Florida
chilling.
I'm pretty sure at one point, Dan's wife came up to me and was like, "Hey, you're Patrick, right? Dan's told me so much about you. Would you like a Coors Light?" And I was like, I've never been offered alcohol in my life before. I don't know what to say. Thank you, but no thank you. Like,
You showed up with that
party.
giant box of Rice Krispies.
Hey, sharing is caring.
That's
I was.
yeah. We
I,
ate a good chunk of that.
I still remember the first time I saw you guys this year at the Pro. I was like throwing up out of the side of my car because I was so fucking nervous, and all I hear is Shane yelling. He's like, "I can hear you breathing from here." Like, I'm good, man. Thanks.
It's like when you're competing and you're going up against people, you never want to beat them, but them having the worst day of their life. So like you got to make sure that you're doing good, but you also want them to be good because you don't want that W in your win column to have an asterisk because it wasn't the day that it wasn't the meet that they wanted, but
Yeah. Well,
it just wasn't a good
I
day.
had a question for you guys then, because I might be wired differently. But do you guys like maybe Shane you do because you've gone head to head with Dan a couple times, but like do you go into a meet looking to win or just like numbers?
I mean, Fern definitely he could tell you too with like the last one he just did, like the clash, but it's like I feel like it's better. It's good to be like you have an idea of it, but like it also fucks you up like a lot too. The last meet I had, I was trying to push numbers, but also kind of pay attention with what he was doing. Like I was like trying to like do more than I probably should have, and it messed me up a little bit. Like I said, I went 6 for 9, so it was like a lot closer than it probably should have been. Versus like, I mean, at the end of the day, dude, we can't just like will ourselves to be stronger like on the day of. Like it's kind of like a cake, like it's baked at that point. Like you know what I mean? You just got to kind of cut in and find out if you did a good job or not. And so I think it's better to sit there and just show up and do the things you want to do. Now, if you're talking like 5, 10 pounds or like I was even thinking like in April, like I don't know, dude, like you're probably going to want to try and squat a little more than me, and I'm probably going to want to try and do the same thing. So it's like whoever opens first or whoever takes like a second attempt, it's going to be a little bit more like that's going to be like jockeying for position or like up and opener or like down, you know what I mean? It's like up, down. I've never had to do that. Like, so I think it would be kind of cool if like we get in that kind of position, but like ultimately, like if you swing for like a number way more than me or like vice versa, like I can't just be like, all right, well, I'm just, you know what I mean? Like you have to kind of like be within reason to kind of like tell with what's going to be there. But I don't know. What do you think, Fern? Because yours was a lot. You kind of blew everyone out of the water last year with your thing, but like I feel like you just kind of hit the numbers like you knew that you were going to hit going in anyway, so it didn't really matter. Like you didn't have to kind of game with what other people were doing.
Yeah, I don't really like before the meet, I'll have numbers in my head, but the day of, it's just that's why I love lifting cash. You just go and I'm just going for the win.
Yeah.
What abs does that I love a lot of the competitors is that it's really competitive. So it's like when I hit my second dead, Dave Richardson put like 425 in for his third to like get in my head, so I would bump my number up and miss my third, right?
But isn't that kind of cool? Like that happens at like IPF stuff all the time, where like it's literally like kind of chess like that.
I
And
love it.
I've only just ever really shown up, and it's like, I mean, just
I love it.
put up a big number. You know what I
Those
mean?
guys, what I like about a lot of those guys that I competed with is like it's never like that whole I'm just here to compete and beat myself. Like they're going there, like everybody kind of had the mentality is like I'm gonna do everything it takes to win. So like everybody was like on lifting cast, their coach was on it, and like you just saw numbers if you paid attention going being changed a lot because it was going off of where can I place? I know I can't place first, but I'm gonna fight for that podium spot, or I can't. Like if I do this, I'll edge him and beat him here. You know what I'm saying? So like when I was competing, I had Jercules handling me. I mean, he's good at he's actually a really good handler because he was making all the calls because like my second move like shit. So I still wanted to take 400 was my goal for that meet. But he said, I think you should go 855, which is what, like 387.5, just to secure, go 350.
You had done that in the gym, so it was already like a secure, like, you know what I mean? Like it was a safe
so
number.
he was going off of what could we do to keep progressing because like Dave hit 390, so he out squatted me by like 2.5. And then on bench, I think he outbenched me by like 2.5 kilos too. So he was already up by deads. So that's where like we both talked. I was like, all right, my opener's this. I hit this on my second. There's no way he's doing more than this. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that's how it goes for meets with them. And then ever since then, that's kind of how I've been competing. It's like more like strategy. Unless I'm doing like a local meet, I know no one's close to me. Like what I did in July. Like I kinda, like my openers were kind of no disrespect to the other lifters, but like I knew my openers were winning me that meet. It was more like that meet was more for me versus me. But like Poland, the same thing was strategy, even though I fucking went 5 for 9. And then pro too, like I knew.
I feel like strategy, like overthinking almost kind of fucks you up a little more. Like you just almost have to like, if it's like really nitty gritty, even getting through like squat and bench, like just do as much as you can. And then like you're a big puller, like
that's why it's like having a good handler, like a coach, because then you don't have to think about that stuff, you know.
Just like somebody that's like going to be real with you about like, hey man, chill out a little bit, or like, hey, let's try and push it. You know what I mean? I know you're kind of stressed, but let's go for it.
Yeah,
like
I go to every meet with the mentality is like I'm there to win. Like I don't like participating. I don't go in the mentality where like, oh, like I'm okay if I just placed in the top 5. Like even with this meet with Dan, like technically Dan outtotaled me by a fuck ton, but I'm still my mentality going into clashes. I'm gonna beat him. You know what I mean? Like I'm going there to retain my belt, win number 1, and whatever. Like the numbers.
You're gonna train with them the whole time though too, which is gonna be pretty dope. You know what I mean? Like Greg and I are gonna try and get out there for a session or two. So like, I think just like being around like strong people consistently, like training like that, like that's like it's almost like two opposites in the sense. Like Pat has to train by himself for the most part. Like he's got a couple little multiply guys around him, and then that's it.
With that stuff, it's like I like to like last year I trained by myself, like for Clash, So I was like training hard still to win, but they like I don't know if you guys remember, they announced the Here was gonna do it. So it's like once the
Yeah.
Here was supposed to do it, like I got like it's like a flip switch, and I was like, now I gotta really put in my all. But then he ended up fucking pulling out anyways. But so that's the way I look at it too. Like, because
Yeah, I
not
feel like he's doing
everybody.
it this year. I feel like he's like the secret, like the super
I don't.
secret entry or something.
I think he's trying to plan for the pro in August, the
Uh,
abs pro, because he's doing
that's a
everything.
long. He's strong as hell right now. That's a long way to hold that
Yeah.
peak. You know what I mean? Like,
Sheesh.
How old is he, anyways?
He's almost 40. I think he's 40.
The
Only?
hair makes him look 50. The hair makes him look 50 though.
Yeah, you gotta let that back here.
Got
Yeah,
that
people don't
Stephen A.
realize
Smith.
like that total he did was like at 30 something, like that 2450 he did at 275. He was like 30 something years old. Like he was always older than like Eric. Like Eric in his prime time, like he was like 24, 20. He was young, putting up 2400 totals. You know what I mean? Whereas
yeah.
Zahir was like in his 30s. Like
Yeah, Zahir was 36 in August of 2019.
yeah, so he's
He's
40.
40.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dude, that
He's
old
still
man
pushing like
strength.
that.
Well, he's strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that dude from Australia? Odell Manuel or
Yeah.
Manuel,
Oh,
whatever. He was like 43 when he did a 20, like a 24:50.
Yeah.
There's like 5 guys that are all at 24:58 or something like
He
that. But
won the
like,
big dogs that year.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like even that, like I don't know. I know like that's like a joke kind of a thing, like old man strength. But like if you, I don't know, if you start later, I feel like that almost like
Helps
peaks
you
you
hard.
harder. Like there's like certain athletes like weird stuff like arm wrestlers or strongmen and stuff. Like they start like in their late 20s or like early 30s. They ride it until like maybe 50, early 50s. You know what I
You
mean? Like and they're
look at Mark
really,
Felix.
really, yeah, dude. Like
Simple. The
Ed
guy started
Kaufman.
strongman like in his 30s, 56.
Or
Still
even if you
so
look up
strong.
here at Strongman, like JF Coron, like the year he tore his quads at the Arnold doing that Austrian oak, like we thought he was going to podium world's strongest man that year. Like
he
it was
won
a
the
given.
squat event.
He squatted. I mean, it was in a squat suit, but he squatted
About 1,000.
953.
Oh, I thought
Like
it was
it
1,000.
wasn't anything. Like if anybody pushed him, I think he probably could have went 500 kilos on that day on that apparatus. Like it
Yeah,
was mental,
Whew.
and he can pull like nobody's business.
well over 1,000.
And I think I think he's coming back to do Masters OSG or something like that. And like I think he's gonna be just as strong as when he left.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think the expression like strong is strong. You know what I mean? Like you could prep and do whatever, but some people just if you're strong, you're just strong. You know, like that's why I like that whole big debate over the bar. I was like, if you're strong, you're strong. You just adapt. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. That's going to be the biggest thing. But if we're all uncomfortable, then
I'm worried
like
about my neck, but beyond that, it's just fucking squatting, just fight down and get
Yeah,
it
I
over
mean,
with.
it's okay to not be a big fan of doing it, but like the whole like bitching about it, it's like you're like I don't know, like I just like
Waste
just
of energy.
you're just if you're strong, you're strong. It's not that hard to take time to adapt to a new bar. Like if you call yourself an athlete, you think you're one of the best to ever do it. You know what I mean? You kind of just adapt to what you're what you're told. If not, you go kick rocks and do another.
we might not have said that since the last one of these we recorded, but so like for everyone listening, it's going to be the meet's basically going to be like 3 hours, 4 hours long. I mean, we're going to start 20-minute break, 20 minutes to warm up, bench, 20 break, 20 warm up, deadlift. I mean, it's going to be quick. And then we were gonna do a monolift, kabuki bar, the whole deal, or whatever, just based on sponsors and stuff. And now that's getting switched over to power bar, walkout, stiff bar for basically all three, so IPF style. I think I've never done something like that. I think just strictly just based on like the challenge of it, you know what I mean? As far as like, so something else to put on my resume, you know what I mean? I've walked out in a mono, I've walked out in sleeves, I've mono and wrapped in sleeves. I mean, all different kinds of bars and whatever else. So it's like, I don't know if you're good enough to figure it out. Like my squat's gonna have to change. Like I'm gonna have to probably be a little more high bar, a little bit more close stance. But like, it's if we all have the exact same amount of time to figure that kind of stuff out, like it's not gonna make a big deal, in the grand scheme of things.
I like it, honestly. I like it. It's a different challenge.
And not to mention, a lot of us have meets prior to that one. You know what I mean? It's not like some people may take the whole 8 months, whatever, to prep for it and not do anything. But like everybody in this chat right now has minimum one meet in between there. I have 2 or 3, but before that, you know.
Yeah.
So
We do. That's crazy.
Well, I think the big thing too, like with the power bar for me, it's like I was super jacked up when they said we were deadlifting with it. I'm like, that's gonna help my deadlift.
Oh yeah.
I grip and rip.
Yeah.
Give me the bar. Like I want to go.
Mm.
Right. My concern was walking out the squat with that particular squat bar, like the Kabuki squat bar, because it oscillates, right? So when you're walking out, like it's
no, it's the
shaking you
power
whole time.
bar.
No, I
Yeah,
know.
the
So
new-
I know. So when
was
they
it
switch to
Oregon
the
power
power
bar?
bar, yeah. So when
It
they
still
switch to,
whips.
yeah, but
A
it's not
little
gonna
bit.
it's not gonna spin on you like that though. So I'm like, I'd rather that.
Yeah. Just
I mean,
a big little not rotating stick
Yeah.
on your back.
yeah.
If Jesus can do it, then I can do it. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all
exactly.
it comes to.
Also,
If he,
like the
Yeah.
abs last year, you had little Boris. He's 220. He walked out a 400 kilo squat off his back and dunked it like fast and walked it back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like Nicholas Dupree squatted like 940 with it, walked out. You know what I mean? So it's like I mean, if there's so many people who've done it, like you know what I mean? Like I think we're all more than capable of doing it.
I just like that it takes away that whole element of, oh well, he's only good in a mono lift, or he's only good with this bar, or he's only good with this wrapper. It's like Fern said, like it's like you show up and it's like we're gonna find out who's really strong. You know what I mean? Like who doesn't need smoke and mirrors to sit there and get their shit done. So
the only thing I was just like oh shit, it was just like the breathing part. You know what I mean? Because the air's different. So I'm like, that might be a fucking issue.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing some like air sprints in between squats or whatever. I'm gonna probably start doing like SBD days. I don't even know how I'm gonna start doing that, but training is definitely gonna be different.
Do what Justin and Pat do the what Joe gives them the sprint.
so assault bikes.
Yeah.
You
guys do that?
Non-consent bike sprints.
They're going to be in
Explain that
really
to
good
us, boys.
condition
How does
for
that
that. I
work?
know that.
Yeah.
Those two are going to be in
Explain
really
that
good.
to us.
Well, like I don't know if you guys are competing, so you might not remember, but like anytime I compete before, like after squats, I would just be like sitting in the back in a pool of my own filth, like I'm fried, I'm done, I can't do this. Like somebody send help now. Like at the Ghost this year, I had a pot with ice that we were dunking a towel in to like soak me, so I drop my temperature. And
You got to get one of those little fans like Shane has.
Yeah. So
I'm bringing a neck fan and a standing fan this year. Like it folds up and then it gets really big, and it's dude.
Have you guys seen the contractor fans, like the Ryobi battery fan?
Yeah.
So Ryobi, like the Walt has one, Ryobi has one, but Ryobi has one that has a hose that comes off the end of it, so you can actually mist yourself.
That's nice. Yeah.
So
I totally forgot about
I'm showing up to Miami in that. I'm not gonna lie.
Eddie Hall used to have like a little like a fan boy, but he was literally like a fan boy. Like he used to just carry one of those fans when he would deadlift, or like when he was getting set up for that 500 kilo, like it was set up on the ground in front of him.
Someone else does that. What strongman does that? Was like for the deadlift. He had like a little fan just like right there for him.
Oh,
probably
most of them do.
Maybe.
Most of them do, because they're all almost 200 kilos, and it's
not only that, but
the
pressure of a suit.
Yeah.
I hate pulling on the suit. I felt like my head was gonna just explode. The amount of pressure.
You put one on?
I was supposed to do the American Deadlift Record Breakers event back in September. So I trained in a suit for like 4 different times, and I absolutely hated it. I ended up pulling out and going to Poland because it was more guaranteed.
Yeah, I remember those text messages.
I hated it.
It's ever loving shit.
Not as easy as everyone thinks it is.
No,
you have to change your setup to do what he was trying to do, and for somebody like Fern, it would have just been better if he just showed up raw.
Yeah,
or like you put a pair of briefs on and just like a little bit extra help, because with that suit you have to sit down and basically roll it kind of how Eddie did, and there's no way Fernando can do that. It would just screw everything up. So
I hated it.
I mean, there's a reason the all-time deadlift record is raw and not in a suit.
What do you mean?
Was beforehand too. I mean,
yeah.
What, Eddie's 500?
Thor's
501.
Are we gonna get in this debate? 500 versus 501? Whether
we're gonna call.
Well, they both were in a suit, weren't they?
I was both in suits. Yeah. But I'm talking about. I thought you were talking about Grigsby's.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I don't want to shit on multiply or single ply powerlifting, but yes.
Well, I mean the thing too, you look at it's like Grigsby pulled 1,074 in a t-shirt and shorts with no straps on.
Yeah.
Right? Like I mean 25 pounds or whatever it is for a suit and straps.
Yeah.
He did a video the other day where he was like, what did he say? It was like a reach thing where he was just like, I'm Dan Grigsby and I have the biggest deadlift in powerlifting, period. Like the way he said it, because it was like, it was just like all the fucking people shitting on it because of the bar or sumo or whatever the hell else. And it's like, you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you have the balls to sit there and put, oh, it's in a single ply shirt. It's like,
I hate the cheating excuse because it's not cheating. If it's allowed, it's not cheating.
No, it's not.
It's like
using leverages.
It's like overarching bench. People are like, that's cheating. Like, no, like it's not cheating. It's allowed. They're doing it. Sumo on a kabuki. It's allowed. It's not cheating. You know what I mean?
I bench more than my sumo on a kabuki.
It's easier.
I feel like there's. I was just talking to my girlfriend about this, where there's this really weird thing where it's like you can be like the best at something, right? So like for me, I'm talking about sumo wrestling. Like that's my obscure thing I watch, but it's like there's a dude who's like the Yokozuna. He's like the #1 ranked guy, right? And so he's just expected to do good, and he will lose. He lost like you have 15 matches, and if you like I don't know, like 12-3 is really good if you finish a tournament like that. 13-2 is really good. And he lost 2, and it's like immediately everyone just starts shitting on him. It's like he's choked, his time's passed. Same thing with lifting. If you're a really good lifter, you have one bad meet, he's done, he's choked, he's this, he's that.
Yeah.
If you have a humongous lift, this is high, that's easy, that. It's like I don't know, it's like we as people, but like it's the most annoying thing where like at the highest level, you get under the biggest microscope for anybody to sit there and critique and nitpick.
Or
and it's like
if these people have like their favorite lifters and everybody's like shit to them, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So it's like if you beat their favorite lifter, you're automatically a villain, and they're waiting for your downfall.
Well,
they pick anything off they have.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm going through that with this Clash stuff.
Yeah,
every time they do those little polls, I'm always going with the least amount of votes.
The only reigning champion who's the underdog.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't get that. Those Europeans hate me. I don't know why.
Which is funny.
Are they just trolling you, or are they just this fucking?
No, some of them I think legit just don't like me and are waiting for someone to beat me, and I'm like, I mean, I don't really care, but it's like you're not using facts. Like you're saying that I'm going to get out. That's never pulled 9 in the meet. That doesn't make any sense. I pulled 9 like 6 times last year alone in meets.
But I think I saw that poll the other day. They had Dan.
That one makes sense.
But
telling me Dan is gonna out total me, it makes a lot of fucking sense. You know what I mean?
You don't really know what Dan's gonna bring though.
I don't dispute logic. You know what I mean? If you're gonna say Dan Bell might out total me, like absolutely, that makes sense. But to say someone who doesn't even out total me in sleeves is kind of like, all right, you know, like just tell me you have a favorite and I'm not. Like I'm okay with
that even happened to me when Cerberus posted their highlight video of me into something about intensity. Like, oh yeah, the guy's like, oh yeah, this guy's good, but he's I forget what his name was. Like, oh, he's no so-and-so. And that guy responded, he's like, well, actually Justin outlifts me on all 3 lifts, and like he's a very good lifter.
I hate that. I get that when I pull, it's like, oh, he's not Jamal does this or this guy does that. I've been called what did the one guy called me? He said I was like the Wish version of Brian Shaw. Like I would call him.
That's a compliment, though. I'll take that.
People love to just not give me any props. They just love to like, oh, Jamal pulls more, or Eddie Hall does this, or Thor does that. I'm like I've only been doing this for 2.5 years, about to be 3. Like, give me a fucking break.
Well, it's funny. I
do the same thing. I do the same shit.
I was talking to my buddy about it, and it was funny because we had a couple things going on in the powerlifting world this past week, and a couple things personally. And I was like, people that like start talking shit, you have to like catch it when it happens to realize what stage you're at. Because if let's say you weren't like better than them at a certain point, right? And they're fine with you, and then slowly you catch up to them. And all of a sudden they're getting hostile. And then you pass them, and all of a sudden they start attacking you. It's like, you thought very little of me when I was down here, and you were better than me. And you always thought that. Now all of a sudden I'm better than you, so I have to be, whether it's cheating or, I'd ease your conditions or whatever it was.
They can't even be friends with you at that point because they're threatened by you or something.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough where like the top guys, like you guys and a few others,
yeah,
the respect is there. It's always these fucking like nerds, people who go like 1,300 and will never be invited to most of these meets that talk shit.
Yeah.
No.
And if you call them out on it, they DM. Yeah, like the one guy, I said something in the comments of Dave's post, and he like DM me. He's like, "Oh, what's up, man? I hope your training's going good." I'm like, "Leave me alone. You talking shit about me."
Yeah.
Like, kick rocks or something. You know what I mean?
My first meet, there was these brothers that I trained with, and my first meet, I out squatted one guy, and all like the oldest brother, and all three of them stopped talking to me at that point.
Yeah,
and we trained in the same gym. I'm like, I just squatted 6. I don't think it was that. Okay.
Yeah, it's
so enough to threaten somebody, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that goes around in the sport.
They're always going to support you up until the point you pass them, and then they're like,
I think it's okay to be competitive. Like me and Justin competing this weekend, like
I'm talking bad shit the whole time.
We want to beat each other, but when it comes to final pulls or final bench or final, like we're gonna be cheering each other on. Like I want them to have the best they can fucking have.
Oh yeah.
Like I want to beat them, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna shit talk them. Like it's just competitive. You just want to beat them there, but at the end of the day, we're still gonna go out to dinner and fucking have a good time.
Well, and that brings me back to kind of the question I asked about, like, do you go after the person or a number? Because I used to always go after the person, right? Like that first Ghost Clash, I literally did my whole plan on beating Shane Hunt. And I went 6 for 9 because it was not going to happen. In my head, I'm like, yeah, if I put 40 pounds on my lifts and trust the taper, it'll be there. But I got stapled on all my thirds. And I just like kind of slowly stopped doing that. I'm like, okay, make my plan. I'll lift within the plan. And yeah, if I can go for the win and take less on my third deadlift to make it a thing, then I'll do that. But just with my leverages and whatnot, I'm not Fernando. I can't rely on my deadlift to win me the meet. I started the other way and just hold on for dear life while you guys run away. So it's like I have to do as much as I can on the squat and bench, and then be like, why are you guys running away from me right now?
Yeah.
This is rude.
You don't have to start that lead out as much as Craig, though. I was about to say. Craig has to smoke everybody by about a mile, and he's got to get off and pump until everyone catches up.
Just give it like can on pool, basically.
I'm in that same boat. Like at the first American Pro, I out totaled Andrew House before deadlifts, and then it was just game over after openers. I was like, never mind.
Yeah. Well, that's why I know this Saturday is going to be. If I have a lead on Fern at all, it's going to be gone before his second last warm up.
You just got to pad that lead as much as you can, boys.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to get somebody to Tanya Harding on. Nobody's willing to do it yet.
Someone contaminated the chalkboard with baby powder.
Oh god, that'd be funny.
That's next weekend's gonna be fun.
Dude, so yeah, that's the next big meet we got coming up here is both you boys next weekend. So it's like this whole meet started out from a tune-up meet to a monolift meet. Or no, to a walkout. It was a walkout meet, tune-up meet, to now it's like it's full mono. You guys were both fucking like gunning ready to go here. And like I kind of said last week where you were just like, you're sandbagging me. You're telling me you lost this, you were feeling not too good going into the pro.
I wasn't.
You lost this weight. You have the best day ever. You're telling me you're not feeling so good going into this meet. You're kind of dealing with a little injury. Yeah. And then you post 3 weeks of massive squats back to back to back to back.
But so Fern knows this. When I tried sumo, I obliterated my groin. Like it was real bad. Like it went up my back.
Like a pop tear or like a
no, just like I couldn't do daily stuff. Like driving and whatnot would hurt. Like it was bad. And then I tried squatting 600 pounds and like I didn't fail, but like we all know what I'm talking about. Like it was I was like shaking on the way up, and I'm like,
not to your satisfaction.
That's not a good squat. And then it was, it was interesting because, I kind of had the typical freak out. And the next week I threw my cheater knee sleeves on, and it was supposed to be like 2 doubles at like 660 at like a 7 or an 8. And the 7 never came. And then all of a sudden it was like 785 double, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't sleep
Comfy.
last night either because I didn't sleep the night before because I had a night shift. I went right to the gym after, and
Guy trying
then
to bamboozle me, telling me I can't squat. I don't know. And then he posts
yeah,
a 785
no,
double.
I was freaking out.
Dude, the
I
day before he's
well,
telling me that, dude.
I have a guy flying in from the East Coast. I got Fern coming up. I have Fern coming up. I have a bunch of people coming out to this meet, and I'm like, they're doing it at my home gym, and I'm like, I don't know if I can actually do this meet. Like they just made this meet to get me money so I can go to Miami, and I don't know if this isn't good. Like this is a bad look, right? Like I'm not supposed to my own damn meet. This isn't good. And then the squat happened. I'm like, oh, that's suspicious. And then the next week it was another one. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then the next week I hit the 865 and I felt like absolute dog shit. I'm like, all right, okay, I'm fine. I'm good. This is all fine.
To be fair, I felt the same thing. We're both coached by Joe. Like
Yeah.
going into the American Pro, it's almost like he kind of just reminds you the only time you need to be strong is when you're on the platform. And
Yeah.
like you end up just not feeling strong the entire like peak, the entire prep. And then you go in on the platform and you're just like, where the hell did this come from? Like,
Yeah.
why am
Yeah.
I doing the things that I'm doing? This
Yeah.
makes
I
no
had a
sense, but I'm not mad about it.
I had to talk you into still doing the meet. You were because you missed a bench, like a pretty decent heavy bench, like right before the American Pro, and then like 2 weeks later you add 20 pounds and then you spank it out, and
Yeah.
then you go to the meet and you do like another I don't know, 40 pounds on top of that.
Pat and I talked for like an hour and a half that night because
Really?
I failed my bench too that day. And we just jumped and spiraled together for a couple hours. And then we were like, you know what, we got to see the prep through to see if this stuff works. And well, at the end of the meet, we kind of like, all right, fine. Wall balls and jumps it is, whatever, fine. It works.
That's so funny.
It's
So
funny.
what kind of stuff? Like, walk me through the thought process of that kind of training, what it is, and then what kind of benefits you guys both feel like you've gotten from that. Because that's very like he even made that video the other day of like doing like the arm bicycle fucking shoulder
Fucking
press
hate
things, where he's
those.
very big on like the calisthenics and stuff, or just that kind of. It's like you don't put those together, but obviously you guys are both not just powerlifters, but you're big, like you large powerlifters, and you guys are both putting up very massive numbers. So it's like, what's in that secret sauce over there in those calisthenics?
You want to take this one?
Ah,
Let me just get both your. Let's just have a flowing
s-
conversation
so
out of here.
it kind of feels like I call it funky voodoo bullshit whenever I talk about it on my YouTube stuff. And because it's weird because he's trying to push us towards being more athletic. And
Yeah.
like the old adage, you have two equal powerlifters and they go through the same program and everything, but the one who's going to win on the platform is the one who does the most to recover. But it's almost like like doing the recovery foreplay while you're in the gym, where like everything is very slow. It's very mind centric. You're building up the was it the neural connections with the muscles. You're working on mitigating like inflammation and stuff by getting full stretch, full range of motion things, and everything is really light, but it's very intentional. So it's you kind of feel like you're cheating while training because you're like, it should be heavier. I should feel worse than it is. And like you leave the gym and I'm like, did I just really do rows with 50 pounds? But like you still got a pump. And it's like
Yeah.
if you get a pump, you still get gains. And it's there's
Yeah.
a lot. He's got a lot of like really, if you ask him why something's the way that it is, he can talk for like a full hour on what like the biological aspect of things that are
Yeah.
going on, like like the ATP phosphate, whatever, things like that. He's gotten really into like the sympathetic and parasympathetic recovery systems, and so it's basically like instead of training to get stronger, that doesn't sound right, but it's training to recover better almost, and while like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
optimizing form and stuff.
Yeah, like I understand like all like the small percentage of stuff, like the small things add up. Because being a cyclist growing up, we were changing, $1,000 parts over for a couple grams. of weights. You get lighter, right? So when Joe started kind of explaining, hey, we're going to do this, like the perfect example, it's like the one-legged ball twist thing that he has us do to learn, you know, how to control our feet, right? Like I could feel that working, right? Or even when I took my third squat at the pro and the bar was just taking me for a ride, I wasn't worried about how long the rep was going to take because I'd done so many reps at 7 to 10 seconds. I'm like, I'm good here. I'm fine. And in terms like the assault bike, I kind of alluded to it earlier with all that extra kind of quote unquote conditioning work he has us do. Being fit and in shape on meet day is an advantage, right? And I talked about this with some of my strongman athletes where it's like, you know, specifically like when I was coaching Maxime Boudreau, it's like, yeah, it's wonderful that you're going to win the frame or the farmer's carry, but let's say it takes, you know, a 98% effort. What if we dialed that back to a 90% effort so you're more well rested for the next event, right? And it's wonderful to have a great big squat, but if you just kind of shit the bed on the next two lifts because you're fried, you lost your day. Because at the end of the day, it's a 3-lift sport.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, yeah, Danny pulls 1,074, you know, but he's not the #1 total of all time, right? And that's maybe unfair to say to Danny. He's not out of shape or anything like that, but you have to be excellent at all three, right? And you can't just fry yourself and hold on at the end of it. Because I did that for years, and that's why I honestly the biggest reason why I think I jumped the 132 pounds on my total because I was in such damn good shape on the day that I was ready to go again. Like,
now, do you guys think that like with that kind of stuff, like is I'll see more of Pat's stuff training than yours, but his looks like he goes very light with a lot of just like band stuff, like you know, kind of dynamic effort, like shorter rest periods, a lot of sets, fewer reps, and then like in the span of like almost like 8 weeks, it goes into like, all right, you're getting back into like the actual competition movement. It's getting heavy. It's getting really heavy. Here's the meat. And then it's
yeah.
like, I feel like you got, it's like, it's a quick, like it's a quick peak and then right back into like a baseline, you know what I mean? Because you're already kind of riding at, like they said, that good, you know, overall conditioning spot.
With my squat, I'm cool with it because I can logic it out and I can be like, okay, listen, like you did a 7-count eccentric with, you know, fucking a 2-count pause with 805. You can squat 865 next week. Like that makes sense. With my bench and my deadlift, I wish it was heavier a little bit longer just to get used to it. So I'm used to having the weight in my hands. And yeah, like the last prep that we did, I didn't feel like I had enough heavy at the back end of it, but I had those health issues going on where I couldn't even hold on to an empty barbell for a while. So it's like, how can we actually peak my deadlift when I can't even hold on to it, even with straps? Right. So like this prep was supposed to be a tune-up meet, and then also my squat took off, and I'm like, let's go party. Right. But like I'm really looking forward to the Ghost Clash one because now we kind of have everything lined up and figured out on what's going to work, what didn't work. And specifically, like for me, is like I toasted my bench prep this one. Like I don't know how I'm going to do on bench because I didn't realize because I just thought it was a fat pad that the Donnie Thompson fat pad was 2.5 inches wider. I was like shoulder locking myself on every rep. I did like I think a week and a half where I was supposed to do a bunch of singles at 485. I said ow in the middle of a rep.
Have you gone back to like a normal bench at all to sit there and just kind of see if it feels any different?
Oh yeah. Because I was in debilitating pain. Like I was sitting there driving, like holding the bottom of the steering wheel, just like sitting with something on my lap, so I wouldn't be in too much pain. And then I randomly just had to do a bench at another gym on a Hansu pad, and that's when I sent Pat the video. So I think I'm gonna try to start sinking to save my shoulders and like hope for the best here because it didn't hurt at all. And then I went back to my normal gym the week after, and I tried sinking, and I couldn't sink all of a sudden, and my shoulder was blowing up. So the next week I went back to my other gym. That's when I hit the 530 bench and a bunch and 5 reps over 500 with no pain. I'm like, okay. So it's just too wide of the bench. It's 14.5 inches, right? So
yeah,
way too big. But I think we're competing on a road fat pad next weekend.
so it shouldn't be as big, but it'll still be a decent pad.
Yeah, no, it's only 12 inches across, and it's a brand new pad too. So you don't have to worry about any of the sinking stuff going on.
I didn't even know they were using a kabuki. I thought it was a Cerberus.
The what?
A deadlift bar?
Yeah, the kabuki bar. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
usually where.
found that out yesterday. I'm like, whoop, that's great.
Oh no, you might not outpull second place by 100
I
pounds.
personally,
Ooh.
I don't like the kabuki. I pull worse than the kabuki.
Oh darn. I'm
So it's
upset.
good for me, but I'm saying like, I mean, it's not good for me. That's why I was like,
What are you
fuck.
what are you opening at?
I'm not sure yet.
You're gonna listen, you're winning the meet. You don't want to play stupid.
No, I'm not sure because it's either I open like lighter and make bigger jumps to go 3 for 3. Or I just do what I usually don't go 2 attempts, call it a day.
But you do get walkout music, and you don't want me finishing off the deadlifts for the day. That's a terrible idea.
I was just gonna go. I was gonna go 880 right to 953 and call
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so even if you open light at 860, you're still gonna have the heaviest pull.
I
So
was gonna
you're
open
fine.
837, go 892, and then go whatever the 953 is. That's
Bro,
like
big jumps scare me now, dude. After
but
getting
deads I love
snake bit on bench, well, on bench now, it's like I will never,
Yeah.
ever. 4 times in a row I've missed that 562, dude.
But what,
4.
what was your
Never will I ever. I do
were you jumping from
523. Every meet faster than it was faster than April than in December. It was so easy. My warm ups were great, and then literally it's like if I take it out of the rack, it's here, and then I just miss it just under, dude. Like it's the most
with this one I
frustrating, and
was
it's like you can't go backwards at that point either. So it's like you just kind of like
Yeah.
you blow it on the second one, and you're just like
probably
fuck.
going 507, 540, and then whatever's thereafter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like a really big jump for my opener
My
to my
best bet
second.
ever was doing that. I went 507 to 535, and the only reason I didn't take a third is because I strained my pec.
But like you, I had this track record of like I open here and I take a second at 5 pound PR, and for years that was just like that was a guarantee. It was set.
Yeah.
And like this is the only time ever now where it's like it's stopped working. But like now I have to realize like okay, this no longer works now. Like I used to like getting smacked in the face before the lifts too. And after like 3 meets of that not working, I'm like, all right, I'm just not gonna do that anymore because this has lost its like shine, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't really work for me anymore.
Yeah.
You got to keep the jumps under 8%, because at 8%, that's when your body goes from, oh, this is I can't really tell difference between the previous weight and this current weight, and then it's like, oh yeah, you added weight. Stop that.
You did it perfect last time though, dude. And I think that's the biggest thing is like for me, like mentally, I don't want to like it's stupid, but it's like I don't want to open less because I know my bench is stronger. But like you of all people, you drop you go from like I don't want to if I can't open at 600, I don't want to do the meet to opening at like 550, and then you bench like 628, 622.
Yeah.
So it's like speed rep, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
It's the last warm
I
up.
think it's very easy to sit there and give advice to somebody else like that, but then just sit there and be like, okay, well you do it, and you're just like, you know what I mean? Then it's like you kind of like fucking change your philosophy on it. But
you hear it talked about a lot where people are like, you know, the best lift to call off is your third bench, right? Like sometimes it just doesn't make sense to fry. So if you just do like if you just do like a last warm up as your opener, right? You still have kind of the gamesmanship for your third attempt that if you need it there, you can take it. Right, because I'm thinking opening. I don't know. I have a plan, but I'm thinking of dropping my opener to like 485 and going right to 535 and then going to 550.
That's a massive.
That is huge.
But
That's huge.
I've always done that jump though. I've always done that jump.
I was gonna go 507, 540, 5 pound meet PR, and then if 551 or 556 is there, I'm taking that.
Well, I think we should aim for 562 now to get it before Shane does.
No, I'm not.
Oh, much sad, dude. I just want the yellow, man. I just want the yellow.
I'll load it. It'll be a great boomerang video.
Oh no.
A perfect day for me gives me 24. A shitty day still PR my total. So that's all I really care about. The biggest thing I want is just a bigger squat. Anything over 400.
Dude, speaking of 400 pounds, 400 kilo squats, dude, your boy fucking Sir Dave had a day yesterday.
He did, yeah.
You don't like talking about it.
No, I do. I congratulated him. He's the only one that every time he messages me, he's like, "Don't listen to what they're saying. Like, we're still gonna have a good time." Dave is great. Dave.
I messaged him after I don't know if it was the Clash or whatever. It was in August maybe, where he got like a 2.5 kilo to PR on his total, whatever. But he had like a 9 for 9 day, so it was literally just all on calls. And I remember I messaged him after that, and I was like, dude, fucking badass meet. I was like, you got on like, you have a fat total PR coming, dude. Like whenever your next meet is, like, and he went from like 20.
He needed it because
37 to 23:58 or some shit.
he needed it because he did the abs pro and completely had a shit day.
Yeah.
He like went 1 for 3 on squats, which he's never missed a squat. I think he went like maybe 1 or 2 for on deads, and then on bench, and then deads. I think he went 3 for 3, but he like completely like did a strategic just to get like I think 3rd place.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like him, Nick, and even now Danny, and like they're not. It's just always like I said, is these dweebs on these comments.
Yeah.
They're stirring the shit.
Yeah, they're always talking shit and saying this guy's gonna beat this guy. This like it, and it's like it makes me laugh because like when has the guy who won it and then done 5 meets after continues to get better as the underdog? I just don't understand that. My track record,
It sounds like this is bothering you.
That's why it's such an issue with any sort of coefficient, because it's almost like an organization being like, you know what? Like, everyone's biggest thing is if I were that big, I could do that too. Well, now there's a coefficient that says, yeah, you can, but like, you look at Dots and Dan's like what 100 something all time with his 2606, and you think there's gonna be like even more than 50 people that can do 2606 if they got up to 400. No, there's maybe like 1 or 2. Like,
well, I don't
him,
think
you and Craig all lose like 20 points off on Dots.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Dots. I mean, I get to use it, but like there's no reason that you have people who like total like 1800 have like a bigger Dots than Dan Bell. Like I don't know that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about wanting to make it like more viewership friendly and whatnot. I know Pat and I talked about this last prep, but it's like, okay, so go explain to grandma why the guy who benched 4 who can't use a fork to eat is stronger than Pat who's benching 620.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to explain to my grandma how I didn't win the American Pro and I had the biggest total of the day. She's like, but you were the strongest that day. Why didn't you win? I'm like, because someone that weighs lighter than me beat me. And they're like, but they do more than you. I'm like, no, they just weigh less than me. That's why
there was a math formula, Grandma. It stole my money.
Math
there was an algorithm.
Why?
I do the same thing with my girlfriend.
Grandma.
She hates. I told Shannon the same situation. She doesn't understand the whole Wilkes and that shit. Like I have the highest total, but you're not winning. So what's the point?
I get the place for it because you're never gonna have both people happy. Because if you have a formula that prefers people who are just stronger, it's always going to be the heavier guy. So always. And then
it's the top 1%, you know what I mean?
And then
no one else would do it.
And then the formula now kind of it kind of benefits the people where they're like, you're still strong, but you're just lighter. So there's no perfect formula. I think the best way to do it is just to separate the classes. I think you have meets specifically for people maybe like 220 and up, and then have meets for people like 198 and down. It's like, because like if you just have everybody together,
I need to go 242 in there.
Yeah, like have $20,000 for the best lifter, and the guy who weighs 198 wins over the guy who's 400 doing 400 pounds more on his total. It's kind of like, how do you explain that to like the general viewer? You know what I mean? Where like in strongman, it's like, well, this guy just had a better event. It's so simple to explain. Like he just did more reps with this weight, or he did a faster time. Whereas like now you got to explain it to like people who don't watch this, who want to maybe get into it. Like, yeah, he beat him because based off of math and this and this and that, he won. Like,
it's like trying to watch the World Series and you got 2 teams going head to head. One team wins, but they use more of their salary cap, so the other team wins. No, that makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It's a good analogy, actually.
It just doesn't. It's not never gonna. It's always gonna have somebody who just gets fucked over. Like right now, it's the heavier guys.
Yeah.
But that's what I think is good about like the meet that we're doing. Like hopefully that starts like a trend of like, because there isn't. I mean, dude, what did Luke make at the American Pro? Like $200 or something like that for a 2,400-pound total in sleeves.
$100. I don't even think he collected. I think he said, "I don't need that. Fuck that."
Yeah, $100 for the biggest total.
Yeah, because I said I was like, yeah, it was $100 for the heaviest total, and then $100 for any world record you break. And he was like, oh, you got $100 for biggest total? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, go collect yours. He's like, I don't fucking need that shit. He was like, that's disrespectful. I was like, yeah. I don't know.
What was the? I've been thought of maybe I want to ask. What was the biggest? What was the prize pool for first place for either reps or
4K
like
for untested Saturday and Sunday, and then 1,000 for the tested winner. And then you have Jordan Wong gave out 5K for a local meet.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
The math ain't math.
That makes no sense.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, it doesn't make sense that the biggest meet of the year, allegedly, gives out 4K. You have local meets giving you 5. Like a local meet.
Well, I will say, like, venue and whatnot, like,
I don't like that.
Venue, and Jordan paid one guy and one girl, so it was 10K split down the middle, which is, I mean, I was stoked about, don't get me wrong, but like at the same time, it was like if Chad would have edged me out on bench or something or squat or something would have happened, I would have gotten nothing. So like it goes from 5,000 to nothing.
Which is,
like that was also.
I don't know. I just have I think a pro level meet should be more like competitive, and if you're gonna call it the biggest meet to ever happen, like I think the money should match that. Like I don't think a local meet, because you have like the U.S. Open, the current, what they used to give 20,000 for the first. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that kind of makes sense. Or like other meets you think about, they give like 5K, like 10K, 15K.
But we also have to ask, like where does that money come from, right? And that money usually comes from some sort of sponsor. So like as athletes, we have to give them something to watch. Right, like at the end of the day, like,
I don't know.
Sponsorship is advertising, so it's eyes that are going to view it. You know what I mean?
They spend a lot of money on the American Pro just from watching as a viewer.
But
it looked like a lot of money.
The money also made its way back because per table per day. I mean, Richie was telling us it was like 1,200 a day. You had 3 days, and they had like 10 tables. Do the math each day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you have sponsors money, then you have registration money. It's like, I get it that there was a lot of money put into the venue itself, but then call it what it is. It's more a show than it is for the lifter. Don't say that it's a show for the lifter when the people who are supposed to win are getting paid less than they would if they just skipped out on the travel, the hotel, the time it took, and just done a local meet and won more. Like, you know what I mean?
Basically.
If Chad would have won, like, let's say, whatever, the 5K, like, how much you think it would have cost him to done Jordan's? Probably nothing. Just drive, pay for a night or two of hotel, and come back. Whereas for him to go to the pro, it was like flight, hotel, registration fee, the stuff that goes into it, the food, the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I just think it's like,
Yeah, so that's one opportunity we have with this meet we're doing. In the latter half of the year, so you have the opportunity to kind of build a buzz around and get eyes to it, right?
100%.
Like that, and I think that's on us to do because it's not being done. I mean, they did do a good job with all the podcasts and all that, and they've picked that up. But like, we need to get the eyes on us more and more, right? And I don't think necessarily just like calling each other, weak and shit is going to be what it is. I don't know if it's we have to kind of pull everybody together and get behind everyone or whatever the best way is, because it hasn't been done before. Right, there hasn't really been too many shows where it's a stacked, packed stadium, right? Because even at the pro, like, how many spectators do you think were there?
It looked the event.
I think last
thing made it look cooler than
was it packed?
Like the amount of people there. I mean, it was like there was people there, but I wouldn't say it was like.
I think it was less than the people the previous year, but I also
But I will say the production quality for you to watch it at home was extremely high.
Yeah.
Right. So it made it look extremely professional. Right. So what I'm saying is that kind of going into this meet, we have an opportunity to kind of create a buzz around it. Right. And doing this is definitely a good way of starting that. But getting actually people so they want to watch it. So they're scheduling.
Well, I was going to say what's good is that the USAPL Nationals is that weekend, literally across the street where we're going to be at. And I think the Power Bar deal, I mean, I don't, like I said, I feel like a lot of people have like a bias toward anything that's not that powerlifting, but like if say that gets done and there's a 3-hour show that you can just pop in and out of across the street, that's going to be like, I think that's going to jam a bunch of people in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to have potentially like 10, 23, 24 plus totals on a power bar walked out in
Yeah.
a matter of 2.5, 3 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we just put a giant sign out front that says we're stronger than you and we know it.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Strongest
Just
meat.
real powerlifting.
Yeah.
Drugs
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, they'll go into like USAPL me and see like a bunch of like, you know, young kids, teenagers lifting, and then they'll come into us, a bunch of bearded, big fucking 300+ pound guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Barely can walk.
Complete opposite.
Yeah.
They're like, Mom, pick me up. I'm nervous. But like one of the things
One of them is bleeding from his forehead.
I really hope he's recovered in time for it.
I hope so too. I really do.
I mean,
I
like,
want everybody to come in 100% healthy, ready to put up the biggest total, no matter. Like,
For real. I want everyone everyone to be
it
there.
just makes it more competitive. There's no fun to see someone who's not at their best.
yeah. And like one of the things that drives people through the door into venues, like people say sex sells, and it's, I mean, yeah, but what really sells is the storylines. Like if you look at like UFC and like boxing and all this, like no one gives a shit that Logan Paul is fighting like Floyd Mayweather, but they get people going through the door because they both have stories. You've got like the greatest boxer of all time. You've got some schmuck who just has a YouTube channel, but he's got a personality.
They kill each other talking a lot of shit.
Yeah. Like WWE, everyone knows that it's staged, and they still get an entire cult following of people coming in through the door. So it's like if you look at the promotional material and you just kind of peel back a layer and put yourself as a spectator, like one of the things that Abs does that I really like is they highlight, like you scroll through it, it's lifter this, lifter that, lifter this person's doing this, and they kind of build all, they're trying to build a storyline. Like it's still in the infancy of getting storylines going, but like you look at the promotional material for like the American Pro or the Ghost Clash, it's buy your photo package, lifters here, sign up for the meet here, lift. It's all selling to the lifters. It's like, yeah, you get the lifters and that's the guaranteed
The thing
money
is that they highlight each lifter. It's not just the person who's the, like, you know what I mean? And that's why I like the way Abs does stuff. Like, is it maybe financially smart as a meet director because you're not getting 200, 300+ registrations? You're only getting 10, right? But it's easy for them to highlight each and every lifter, hype up each and every.
You're getting 10 diamonds though. You're getting 10 marketable.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like,
top
even
tier
Poland
lifters.
had a good amount of things. But like when I did Clash for the first time, I was expecting the same feel from the last like pro show I did, which is just like, you know, you show up, you compete, and it's like whatever. But no, like Jay, you do a weigh-in ceremony. They introduce you. They do a press conference. They give you a goodie bag for you to hydrate. They give you a meal. Like he'll probably have it for this one, but like for Clash, he gave us like a spreadsheet to pick out our meal, our snack, our hydration, and like what we want. And then he gives you a whole kit. He takes the pictures. He's like, there's a lot of media that goes into it, and it's easy when you have 10 guys to do that than it is to be like 200-300 because you're only going to highlight 2 or 3 people. And that's the one thing I'm not a big fan of meets here, is that they only highlight, you know, 2, 3, 4 lifters, and it's clearly, you know who I'm like, what I'm talking about. Whereas when Abs meet, and they're hyping up everybody. They just, you know, Dan, Dave, Nick, me, and the other 8 guys. If you look, they're hyping everybody up like, oh, like it's anybody's day. They come in, where it's like you're only gonna see, like, they're pretty much hyping up the 3 or 4 lifters they want you to see, and then everybody else is kind of like the prize pool funders. You know, you're fundraising. They're fundraising with the other people.
Yeah.
Highlighting only the select few.
Yeah, I will say with all that kind of being said, we have come, you know, beyond full circle from where when I got into the sport. You know what I mean? Like we were having meets in small high schools with, you know, 20 or 30 competitors. That was it, and that was nationals. You know, and now we actually have, you know, big meets that are actually finally turning from a powerlifting meet to an actual show.
Yeah.
Right. Because my biggest gripe for years has been, how do you look somebody in the eye when they walk into your gym and charge them a spectator's fee? What are they spectating? As somebody paying for something, what am I getting out of it? Right. What makes this different than me just watching it on a YouTube video at home? Right.
Well, even powerlifters, dude, it's hard for them to even sit through a whole meet if they don't have someone there that they're invested in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So that's where when you crank up the production value, right, it becomes something you can actually watch that is marketable, right? And I think that's been a really cool thing these last couple of years to actually see that happen, because it means we're breaking through finally from just being this boring 12-hour sport. Sorry, I've done XBC at the Arnold before. That's how long it is, right?
Yeah.
To actually being something where it's actually quick and marketable now, right? Especially, with this being, like you said, that we're doing now, with it only being the 14 of us now doing it.
14, right? I think that's the number right now. Potentially
14.
15, but 14 right now.
Yeah.
Give me that name. Am I still in 15th or 14th? Or did I drop to 15th?
No, you're not. You're like third from the bottom, I think. Nice. Shane Craig, you.
Yeah, well, Craig's gonna leave me alone because I'm also in knee wraps, and he wasn't. Anyways, but yeah, no, I mean that's a really cool thing, because we haven't had that before in our sport. It's always just been, it's been a powerlifting competition, right? And now people are actually starting to watch it because it's good, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you, but I don't like how it's being marketed. Say what it is. Don't sell me, something that it's not. Like, if you're gonna say we're just trying to get the sport as mainstream as possible, I'm for it. But don't say it's gonna be something for the lifters and lifters to benefit, because being a lifter, I mean, everybody here knows how expensive it is.
Yeah.
It's really expensive.
It's expensive to be a power lifter right now.
It is. So if you're gonna say, hey guys,
passion project, boys,
work with us, and we're gonna try to take the sport so we can get paid, okay? But don't say, hey, we're going to do this for you, and it's going to be the biggest thing. It's going to be this, and that. And you get there, and you get thrown pennies to the dollar that you could have made at a local meet without spending half the money you did.
There's a reason so many female powerlifters have OnlyFans. And there it is.
Yeah, like, it's hard to be a powerlifter when there's so much to spend on. It's like people don't realize the amount of food, every other aspect that comes into it, and then the last thing you're doing is traveling. Like, I mean,
that's even worse.
Justin lives in Canada, and he has to come down to Miami. Like, that's not a cheap flight, not a cheap stay, and nothing's cheap there.
And I lose 40% on the dollar because our conversion rate.
Yeah, so he's getting shitted on just to compete, and like, sadly, like, unless they're gonna do weight class pay, it's like you might not even win a cent. You're going there to participate and get your numbers up on open powerlifting. You know what I mean? It's like, I think you deserve more than that.
I get a chance to use the same bar as Shane Haller. That's all I need.
I get to step in Hunter Sen.
He says that now. If he squats like 5 more pounds than me, he's gonna be
right. I'm gonna stop the meet there. I'm just gonna end the meet right there. I'm gonna pull a fire alarm. I'm winning. Bye.
Just make sure I do after I squat, then you can do whatever.
No, you're not doing that. I will say this. No.
The adjustment to wraps has been, it was not fun at first. I'm not necessarily saying I'm having fun with them, but when they're put on properly, it just is like, it's a very nice process when like the squat goes extremely fast. So like I went from not wrapping for like since 2020, like right before COVID was my last one. And I've surpassed that squat and sleeves now. I used to have like I not type wraps when I used to do them, and like this whole thing. So like this whole process has been like me like learning to do it myself. So I spent a whole month doing like self wrap to sit there and just build the conditioning up for it. So like I was doing like 11 wrap sets like a week, broken up between 2 sessions. And I just finally started having somebody actually wrap me. So like I don't even have to sit there and do it myself. And god dang, like I said, the whole process sucks, but like when you just sit there and just pick it and it just sink, boom, and it's seamless. You're like, okay.
It's a workout wrapping.
It's a workout, bro.
Getting them back, like rolling them back up tight. It's a workout.
I don't even have a wrap roller at my gym. So before, I've only been taking a wrap from somebody for the last 2 weeks. I've only been using tighter reps like probably for the last 2 weeks. So like I had a wrap roller 2 weeks ago, and I've been doing it by hand, which fries your forearms even worse. So I'll roll them by hand, and then I wrap myself. So like literally going up and doing like a set of 4 is like the easiest part of my workout after I've just literally done all that myself. You know what I mean?
My bench is so good.
I'm built for knee wraps. I hope knee wraps never die, because I'll fall a little bit down. Like I honestly find like the way that I'm built, when I put my knee wraps on, it's like I'm home again. It's like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm excited, because like
do you do any self-wrapping yourself, or do you have someone?
I'm way too much of a princess for that. Absolutely not.
You're so lucky.
No, my buddy Matt that was there with us at the pro. He's my massage therapist, my best friend. He does my knee wrapping as well, and like he fucking cranks them. Like we do them the exact same way, and so it's perfect.
And he likes helping out. Like that's always been my thing. Is I always
Yeah.
feel like it's like, hey man, do you mind wrapping my knee? Like I feel like I'm like being like a needy bitch, and like someone's like annoyed with me about it. But like he's like Sean, my old coach. He's the one that's wrapping me, and he was like, I was like, oh, you don't have to do me like for like a last warm up and a top set. I can do the rest. And he's just like, no, dude, like I'm here. It's not a big deal. And like I was just like, I was like flattered. I was like, you want to wrap my knees? Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, he I mean, the other two is he's really, really good at it. And I always make sure like I do as much as I can to cover his costs when he comes out. So that's a little bit, another expense, but it's also, like people, they like to make fun of people who want to know exactly what bar it is, exactly what equipment it is. It's like, no, I just don't want there to be any variables. Right. So we make sure
if I'm gonna prepare, I'm gonna prepare.
Yeah, like I'm not wasting 6 freaking months to show up and get, jettisoned, because I did that this year at the Ghost when we had the Texas swap bar, and I didn't realize it was going to be that bad with the bar. Right. And I got sent flying, and then it happened to one of my clients, like, in March, where he took it was his first meet, told 2,100 pounds his first meet, but his second squat attempt, Garrett was like the head judge, and he basically charged Garrett through the combo rack with 805 because the Texas bar sent him flying so hard. Right. So I'm like, I'm buying whatever bar I'm using, I'm buying from now, because I'm not going to waste 6 months of my time to get screwed up for a 3-second mistake.
I don't know if you guys saw that part in the group chat where they were saying we might get some comp and/or free bars. I hope that's actually something that happens.
Yeah,
I would definitely be a fan of that. I don't know what the difference. What's the one that we have, Craig? It's like the Boneyard bar. It's like the IPF one. That's like
it's not a Lico, but it's like a one below it.
It's something like that, where it's like got that super thin collar. It's all like one piece. Like it doesn't oscillate or anything. Like it's
a competition bar though. It's an actual competition bar. I know that.
Yeah, I like using like when I do any of my stiff bar stuff. I feel like that's honestly shorter. Like when you bench, like it just barely clears the things. But
with those ones, you have to be careful, because all the racks are like they're the same width, but they've brought the weights in. So I've seen a bunch of meets now where people actually, as they unrack their bench, they get caught on the pin.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me once.
So when we go this weekend, for like my boys are going to be making sure for you and myself and our athletes on the flight, that when they go up for bench, that pin's not all the way through. Because if we go up and we look at it, it's like, no, pull the pin out, because I'm not getting caught with my third bench, being stuck up here, So
imagine being the company that like you go through like I don't know how long it takes to design one of those things, but like let's just say a lot of time to make sure, a lot of money to make sure this thing's perfect, and you think it's amazing, and you send it out, and then you just get flooded with like a ton of people complaining about this defect in your like it's such a simple thing. Just make it shorter.
Before, I mean, the distance between the collars has always stayed the same, but the collars used to be this thick before the sleeve for the weight.
I like this stiff.
Yeah, so now they're much thinner, right? So I mean, the bars are better. They're much better than what we had in the past and whatnot. But it's like it's small, so it's going to catch you. And if I know it's going to be a potential, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it's not a factor on the day.
Yeah, it would be less whip.
I just think we're even just talking about this and like just talking about bars being better than what we would use them, but like you just like we're all powerlifting nerds. Like we've watched like our powerlifting forefathers lift on like just jacks, like there's one leg and then another one leg, you know what I mean? And then like the plates are all fucking goofy and shit, and like
well, there's a story that like the very first 1,000-pound squat done at a meet, it was the weights were so wide that they couldn't screw it and ratchet it. They had to put it on backwards.
Isn't that the guy? What's his name?
Lee Moran.
He got knocked out.
Like 3 attempts. They gave him like
Yeah.
because like the first time the fucking bar flew off.
Yeah.
The second time he failed, and then he went for a third. That takes a lot of balls. Just
Well,
say,
and on the second one,
3 times.
And on the second one, he knocked himself out, so people were leaving, and he got up. He's like, "No, I'm going to go again."
You guys wild.
It's like, no, you're not. We got to do CT precautions now for you to make sure you're not dead. But no, I think we're in a good spot. And like I said, with this meet that we have coming up, I think we can do a really cool thing here and make it actually something that people want to watch.
I think
right.
So. Yeah, I really.
Well, I think with ABS doing their productions.
Yeah, I think it was here, and then once we decided to go with the power bar for everything, I went even more because it's like you said earlier, it's like there's no excuse now. Like there's no like say, well, they use a specialty bar or they use a mono. It's like all exactly the same as USAPL and IPF. It's like there's no difference. It's like we're all doing the same thing.
There's one difference.
Yeah. There's only one difference. There's only one, not 10. You know.
But the thing is, they're gonna find something to tear apart no matter what we do. That's all.
Like it's because it's a kabuki power bar, not IPF. Or
no, they're just gonna say, "Oh, it's not IPF." You know, these guys are cheating regardless. It's like, okay, whatever. You're just not gonna be happy no matter what.
ABS judging, since they're gonna be doing the judging, they're tough. They use IPF style judging. It's like your head can't come off the bench. Like that's
jeez.
Yeah, because when I did class,
that's liking this meat less and less.
Yeah, there's no fluttering your head and then doing one of those. Your head's got to be on that bench.
But like my shoulders retract and then it pushes my head up off there. my lats are too big. My lats. It's my lats.
Just grow out your hair more on the back.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
Style it so it's on there.
I was talking with Gino at the American Pro, and he was like, Blaine Sumner, he's got that big headband, and it's not because he sweats a lot. He does. He's got a massive knot on the back so that his head has more of that like ability
to come smart.
It was like you need to slide into his DMs and get all these like little cheating hacks.
Yeah, right.
Like,
we all have that old guy we train with that's like, wear a baggy black singlet, whatever bench pad color is, wear a baggy colored that singlet so that way they don't see your ass coming off. Like I used to train with this guy that they used to take, I wouldn't stick them, but it was some kind of like adhesive spray, and they would put it on their fucking knee wraps and they would fucking roll the shit up. They'd put it on their shoe. Everyone's seen the videos of Scott Mendelson putting on his shoes before he would bench, and like your back and like your ass, dude. They would do all kinds. They used to sit there and put tennis balls behind their legs. But back in like the 70s, and then rape ace bandages over that, like any kind of fucking crazy trick. So like, it's kind of funny that like even like IPF's about as regulated as you can get, but like, I mean, dude, at the end of the day, who gives a shit if he has like this much more of his head off the bench? But just the fact that like people are able to kind of still game it a little bit. Like, I love that. I love that.
Do we have to hit depth on bench?
No.
Huh?
No.
Do we have to hit depth on bench?
No.
That fucking 90-degree deal.
See, I'm excited that abs is coming out because I don't usually wait for judges to tell me whether or not I got my lift. I just make sure I bury my shit and I pause too long and I'm good. That's what I love. Just fucking, I don't need the judges to tell me. I know I got it. Thank you.
Yell at the crowd either way.
Well, the funny one was a ghost. I got white. I got one red for depth on my opener, and Dan and Alen stared at the judge, and they're like, "Pardon me," and he was like, just a little bit. They're like, "No, it wasn't." And they just like walked away.
That guy's butt hurt for the rest of the day. Didn't flip a red for anybody else.
Yeah, no, I was like, no, man, whatever. If it was high on your side, I'm sure it wasn't, but whatever. So the second one, I let go of my brace in the hole, just like bury it.
Just that doesn't sound like a good thing to do, though.
It wasn't. It was terrible.
Let go of the bar to put your hands out. Just do all of that way.
Yeah, sit on the ground as a Steve.
The one question I forgot who asked in that thing that I did want to hear from you guys was your Mount Rushmore of powerlifting. Like, what's your top 4 like of all time?
Everybody give 4. Yeah, like regardless, just
total. Just go off of whatever you think are the 4 best. Don't think about any fucking, specialty, whatever.
All right, I can. I'll go. Dan, Ray Williams,
Mm-hmm.
Ed Cohen,
Yeah.
and Andre.
Yeah.
I'd go Dan Bell, Peter Petrus. He had the total record before Dan. Andre and probably Ray. I'd throw Ray on there. In there.
That's a big boys. I feel like
or Eric. I'd throw Eric. Eric is huge for me. Eric Lillybridge.
Eric is. I would put Eric as like 5.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. You got one, Justin? I'm
sitting on 5. That's my issue right now. I got to figure out who I'm kicking out.
We'll go then. I'll put Dave Hoff, Dan Bell, Mariana Gasparian, and Blaine Sumner.
Okay, those are really good. Yeah,
those are good. I like those.
They're really good.
I feel like she's the only girl that's ever had the total record in the guys class too. That's probably why she's on that rush.
Oh yeah, fair.
I was split between Blaine Sumner or Crystal Tate.
Crystal Tate is strong as hell.
Yeah.
Who's the female that just beat the all-time total record? The pro-am for the whatever the women's pro-am last year.
Was that Amber Hansen?
I forget her. No, she totaled like 20.
Oh no.
Leah Reichman.
Yeah, I know you're talking.
Yeah.
She squats like 950 or something, dude. Like
really
953. Yes. She benched like 5. I think she pulled like almost like over 6.
Holy shit!
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
953, 501, 600.
Yeah, that's yeah. That was last year. Yeah, I think she's doing it again this year.
The pro-am, the women's one?
Yeah, the one in April. Your wife's doing it now?
Yeah, she did that one.
I didn't even know she was doing this weekend until I saw her name on the roster.
We didn't either until we realized she can win money for openers.
The rec got to be paid, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it pays for Miami. For me, it's like my Mount Rushmore. I don't think it's too early, but I think Hack has to go on there eventually if he keeps doing what he's doing. Ed Cohen, Dan, and Andre. Sorry.
So I'm very conflicted because I feel like I have one that's like you can do like just like the overall. So like obviously Ed and John would be on those. You could probably put like Mike Bridges on there, who's like the guy that inspired Ed Cohen. But I also kind of just like the bigger guys. So it's like in my head, I almost want to do like I would want like Bill Kazmaier because he was like the first like OG 2,400 pound, like 1,100 kilo total, 650 bench, 660 bench, whatever it was. Gary Frank because he was the first guy to go 25, 26, 27. So like those were humongo numbers. Shit, and then it gets hard because then it's like I'll go Ray just on the raw side just because that massive crazy squat, like nobody was doing that for like when like Andre was coming up, like he was on the raw side of it and doing so like I would say Ray for that because that was like insane tested numbers. And then Dan because that just edges out Andre even though Andre had the time. But Dan so that's like a crazy stat like on him like if there's 4 guys that have ever gone over 2,500, they all did it once. Dan's done it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So like I think to me that kind of like
that's crazy.
How many times did Peter do it?
Once, I think.
I'm gonna look right now.
Peter did it once. Andre did it once. Jesus has done it once.
Yeah,
I feel like Peter's underrated. I feel like people don't talk about him much when he had the. Yeah, you're right. I only did it once, but he had the total for a while. So Dan took it. No, it was like a year and a half, 2 years. He had the total.
Well, it was Andre had it, and then Dan took it by a little bit, and then
Peter took it for a bigger.
And then Dan was like, "Hold my beer." Actually, he's just drank his beer and just 2606.
Peter did it in 2020, and then when did Dan do his 2606? Like 21.
21. He did it the hybrid.
That's when you squatted a granddad, right?
No, Greg.
I squatted a granddad.
So it lasted about a year.
At the Kern, I beat him. He did 11. He did the because he did 11.
live stream when he
did it.
I was watching
That's
the
quite
live
a
stream
bit.
when he did the 2606.
Well, I remember, sorry, Dad, but I remember being more jacked up with your 1,000-pound squat and sleeves than he threw his knee wraps. I'm like, yeah, I expected that. Who the fuck was this guy?
It was. I hated it because no one could give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because I did 1,000.
wasn't
He
even in
squatted
the
1,100
prime time
pounds.
flight.
Yeah.
He was in the flight
Yeah.
before the prime
Yeah.
time flight.
Well, that's what Pat and I were talking about. And I actually found a kind of like a good way to like make a prime flight out of like dots and totals. So if you want to have like a fifth, like a, let's call it 14, so it's easier. But like, let's say you have a 14-person prime flight. If you just like rank like in one list the best dots, one to last, and the best totals, one to last, and then you take the top 7 of each and put them on a flight, there will be carryover. And then what you do, because total is won by dots, right? Or sorry, the overall is won by dots. You then bring in the lower dots people to fill the flight out. Because then you have the big guys, because there's no reason that Pat should have been ever left off of the prime flight, right? For the pro.
Can you imagine he squats and benches more than anyone else at that whole meet?
Well, that's what we were talking about. But that's what we were talking about.
It's not fair, but that's how they did it.
You know, so that's why I think if they did
that's
that,
why
what I was saying going forward,
the way you're saying it should be that way, yeah.
Because then all counts payable are done. That's good.
Yeah.
Like everybody who gets paid has an equal opportunity, and there's no like, you know, okay, so Pat's not in the prime session or the prime flight. Okay, now everybody else gets to kind of game plan on how to beat them.
I don't even think there should be prime sessions. I think you should just make the meet smaller and invite the top 30 of each day. I think that's the way to do it.
I like that.
There's no need for a pro meet who's just the best meet ever to have 300 plus people sign up for it. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, what Justin was saying, just make it a spectacle. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to have everyone be there, but like we all don't like everyone doesn't get to compete at the Olympics. You know what I mean? Or like whatever.
That's
I'm not comparing it to that, but like if you're gonna have a top tier thing, like make it 15 people or whatever. Our thing is gonna be 15 people.
So the thing you gotta remember though is
be like
funding.
that.
You gotta remember the thing though is funding, right? So if they do that, like I think part of their thought process with like the quote unquote season for the WRPF this year with like regionals leads to something nationals, which leads to them potentially invite to the American Pro. Those smaller meets do part of the funding for the bigger meets instead of the bigger meet having a day on its own to fund. I think I said that right. You know what I mean? Like if you have a bunch of these smaller meets to fund the payout meet at the end, like let's say you do a meet and you take 15% of that revenue and you put it aside for the bigger meet, right? So it leads people to do the bigger, badder meet. That would be the way to do it. So we, like you guys said, we don't have, 200-300 person day for the big guys to get paid out $200 or whatever.
I think it should be like 30 lifters a day.
Yeah.
Maybe top 5 or top few of each weight class. Send invites. Don't base it off of dots, base off of rankings. Way easier to send invites. And then, and then maybe as an incentive, people who do nationals, you win, you can get an invite. Maybe do it that way.
No, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. If
but how much you want to bet the American Pro still going to have 200, 300 plus people sign up for it? It's going to be 60 lifters.
It's the same thing as last year. It's the same thing as last year.
It shouldn't be that way because it doesn't make any sense.
Like last year there was total of I think it was 2,300 total.
It's like just because I play at the YMCA basketball on the weekends with my friends doesn't mean I should go play with LeBron on the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like it should be that way. It should be you have the pros and you have the people that are not, and then you work your way up. I think it gives more of a thing like, all right, one day I'm going to be at the American Pro. It shouldn't be that I just go do regional or something and I'll get there with whatever minimum requirement. I think it should be
all you need is just a dot, so you qualify it.
I don't think it should. I think it should be off of rankings. Your very best. You know what I mean? Like I think every sport's like that. No,
I agree.
Well, with this, it depends on what you're ranking off of, right? If you're ranking off of dots, or if you're ranking off of total.
Do it off of weight classes. Do it off of top 5 each weight class. You're gonna have people get injured and drop off, but like I think top 5 of each weight class. That way, it's like you have literally the best of the best around the world, or whatever. Or top 5. You want to make the American Pro just an American meet, whatever.
But that's why we have a million federations, because you can't keep everybody happy. So people are like,
I think that would
ball and play over here.
That's the biggest issue. I think if everything was under one house, you know what I mean, then their funding would be there because you'd have all these people working together. But I think there's and we can, I think everyone's talked about this to death on podcasts, but it's like there's never going to be that, like, it's in powerlifting nature to sit there and want to sit there, kind of, have, I wouldn't say exclusivity, but like you want to feel good about like whatever it is. So there's going to be different federations, there's going to be different people wanting to try and make as much money off it as they can or whatever, and that dilutes and waters down.
Well, we have, to give you an idea, we have 13 federations in Canada.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we have the population of Texas.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that IPF and UCP are the only two like tested feds.
Because they've done a very good job in monopolizing the market.
Well, I think it just should be that way. It should be just two federations, or maybe one. It should just be one. It should.
The scary part is
you don't see
what do we
about not doing the Sheffield. They just are trying their best to get into Sheffield.
But what do we say about people that can't come from that federation now because of like the mafia style, like where it is like they have a monopoly, but it's like if you're going to play ball with us, you only play ball with us. You can't do this. You can't even.
It sucks, but I think it should still be that way. It's like the NBA, the NFL, the MLB. I'm not saying powerlifting's ever going to be to that standard, but then look, compare it to more like strongman. Strongman doesn't have 1,000 different feds. They only have two: Strongman Corp and USS. It's literally two. Mm-hmm. And then you have the top guys. It's just one place to go for World's Strongest Man. You don't have, RPS Strongest Powerlifter, WRPF Strongest.
But with that said, Arnold, Shaw Classic, World's Strongest Man, OSG.
But what are the top three shows that every pro wants to win? The Rogue Invitational, the Arnold, World's Strongest,
and the World's Strongest.
Well, and now Shaw's payouts are pretty big.
Nobody really cares about Shaw's Earth Strongest.
Money looks kind of nice. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's not a good show. I'm saying like if you talk to like the top level guys, or you hear these interviews with more teams and these guys, it's the holy trinity is Rogue, Arnold, and World's Strongest Man. You win those, you go down as one of the best ever to do it. That was Martin's goal for years, if you remember, was to win one of each. He has one of each, so his legacy is kind of there.
Have you seen those podcasts with Brian Shaw where he asks like Martins or like Thor if they're gonna do his competition? They're just like, it's like they're just like,
You see what I
didn't think about that until you said it. Yeah, they're all hesitant. They all want to do Rogue or whatever else. But
like IPF is paving that way though, where it's like the biggest one for everybody is the Sheffield.
Yeah.
Like USAPL is trying to pay something like that, but IPF has it the best as far as like the structure to become one of like a pro, get paid off of it, and make it like a living. You know what I mean? Like that's like the goal for like a lot of us that put everything into it. It's like it'd be nice to like make powerlifting your living. Like strongman guys are pros, and that's what they do for a living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I will say a lot of those professional top end, like like maybe not the top 5, but like 5 through 20, they all don't advertise a lot, but they all have jobs, right? And like what I've done, like with powerlifting, especially after the pro. I mean, I've been coaching since 2017, but in 2022 it became my full-time job. Is my achievements on whatever platforms have led me to be able to be a coach full-time, right? I use that as the opportunity. So as much as yes, I would like to get paid more on the day, having what the pro did for me in terms of the people at home watching and the kind of spectacle that I was able to put on with the production crew, like that did more for me than a quick payout on the day.
It was like a free infomercial almost.
It was,
like,
100%.
Yeah. You would rather it be the way it was for you now, or let's say you would have won $20,000 or $50,000 for
I got freaking 5th on dots and 4th on total, so I wouldn't have got any of that money.
Let's say it would have. I don't know. I see it differently than most people do it. Like I think we should be one fed. I think it should be one bar. I think
not everybody's going out there and having the biggest solo ramps. Okay, so you just
no, it's not like
it's easy being first. You give me all the money.
Part of the reason that the USAPL has been able to get that almost like monopolized hold on the drug tested side of powerlifting is because the structure of their rule book has it so that there's almost like a non-competition clause where if you compete somewhere else, you're banned from the federation for an X amount of time, which is why Big Ray and Jesus aren't coming to the Voldemort meet. Is It's almost like they have a contract in there where everyone who competes there wants to continue competing there, but there's that whole like non-compete clause in the rule book that prevents them from like doing a meet in a different fed. So, you know.
Well, at SBD
I
money's
don't
too
see an
damn
issue
good.
with that at all. I mean, it
I
does.
was going to say, it's other sponsor contracts that are affiliate with
Yeah.
that probably rubs the wrong way.
Us, we can't compete with those guys, but I don't see anything wrong really with kind of keeping everybody in one roof.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you have to get ready for too, though, when it comes to that type of stuff, is the overall control they have. So if you look at strongman, for example, last year at the Arnold, when I was there coaching Sam for the pro women, she had to tape everything that didn't say SBD up on it. There was no other logos allowed. So for the Rogue. Right, she had to tape everything that didn't say Rogue on it. Even though Evolution was sold on the Rogue website, it didn't say Rogue. Or no, SBD, it was SBD too. If it didn't say Rogue or SBD, you had to tape everything. Right. So the second that stuff comes in, any kind of small local sponsors we have, our individual stuff, kind of like the UFC Reebok deal, get thrown out the window. So that's the only thing you have to worry about, right? I mean, I don't think the powerlifting problem is going to be solved in our lifetime. I think, we're going to be the group of guys to kind of bring it, hopefully, almost all the way up to mainstream. And then we'll bitch when we're 50 that it wasn't like that for us and that we had to have real jobs. And that's why our generation is stronger than the next generation.
Yeah. We pay for the way for you, damn kids.
Yeah, damn kids.
Back with in my day,
with
the American Pro.
Now it's the American Pro 26.
The American Pro Grand Prix.
Yeah.
All right.
Patty, were there any other like one or two other good questions that we got on there we can wrap it on up with? Or
all right, which one is better, a 1K raw squat, 1K deadlift, or 700 bench?
I'm gonna go with the squat every day.
Ooh. I was telling Shane this. I think holding 700 pounds for a bench is more scarier than a squat any day.
Yeah.
So, like,
in my opinion,
you would almost have to like 1,000-pound squat is badass, but like it's almost like the scarcity rule. So it's like if there's
7,
it's like 3,000-pound deadlifts.
2. If you want to call Benny's full power, only 2. Benny did it.
And there's 7 benches over 7.
Really?
And
full power though?
Full power.
It feels like even like dirty for me to sit there and try and like downplay 1,000-pound squat. But how many 1,000-pound squats are there? There's
I think
30, at least 30 or 40. At least.
I think I'd rank it as maybe squat, bench, and then dead, or maybe bench, squat.
So there's only 2 full powers.
What full power 700-pound benches?
Yeah.
So
and
maybe I'll. I don't know. It just 1,000 pounds on your back, going up and down. I mean, 700 pounds in your hands over
this
your.
This is in sleeves. In sleeves, we're talking.
Either or, in my opinion.
See, the thing is, I'm too close to 1,000 for me to think that it's anything big. So we'll call it the bench because I'm not good at
Can't squat like you do.
I don't know. I feel like 1,000 is going to be a squat opener for me soon. So I
feel like if I'm gonna say that question, I feel like it's got to be the 1,000-pound pull, just based on the scarcity of it. That it's like outside of strongman, suit, straps, 3 belts, whatever. Like I mean, we've seen 1 guy, 2 guys really that are able to kind of do that.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that's going to dilute the question is all these sumo pullers who have extra long figure 8 straps on, whose fingertip is barely touching the bar.
Oh, I'm talking about competition.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Don't care about gym.
Hey, the pull still has a lot of good personality.
We were talking about what's his name last time? Fern, what's his name? The dude from Poland that won, or from Eisenhart that won.
Damn, I can't forget his name. The one that pulled 505, right?
The Dr. Deadlift or something like that.
No, that's the other guy.
He literally does like figure 8s where like his fingers are barely like resting on the side of the bar as he's pulling it, and
it's like HTNO something, right?
Yeah.
Ventislav Dimitrov. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but yeah.
Oh, and like people were saying it wasn't locked out or something. Is that what it was?
It wasn't.
It wasn't. He knows it
He
wasn't.
moved it. He
got
moved it. So I mean, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. But that, and I mean, hey, to kind of bring it back to the meet we're doing, that's what I'm excited. You know what I mean? Because anybody who has any questions on the standards they have lifted in the last year and a half have an opportunity to clear it up.
100%.
Right? Like bring on the tough judging. Like give it to us.
You're gonna have one of the toughest judging and untested on the toughest bar, I guess, for untested. No specialty bars, no nothing. It's all like as strict as you could get it to prove. Like if you're strong, you're strong. If you're strong, you're gonna still. I think if you really train with everybody here, could still PR their total. I think everybody.
Oh yeah.
It's not a question of like
it's a slight adjustment, dude. It's not like it's like going from NASCAR to drag racing. Like it's a slight equipment change.
Dan is still pulling over 1,000 on that bar. He just has to adjust his stance to bring it in a little bit, and then get used to no slack being pulled out of it. But he's still strong as shit. He looks like a brick house. You know what I mean? Like he looks.
I know.
I'm not a big fan of the beard. I don't like it.
It's different, right?
It's too fucking big.
Man, dude.
He just has to clean it up a little. He has to like.
It's growing. It's not getting longer. It's getting wider.
That's what I'm saying. He has to like trim it up a little bit, fix it up, a little shape up.
My favorite part is how he wears the hat like a Vietnam veteran.
Yeah.
It barely fits his head.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward.
Like the old sea captain of powerlifting.
Yeah, right. Now, I think, like you said, this meet is going to shut down anybody who's ever been doubted. That's why I want everybody to come in healthy, because it's like if you put a bigger total, it's like you really can't see shit now. Like nobody.
Well, it also just makes it's a highlight for yourself in the same way where it's like, you are. It's a clean, deal on your resume where it's like I did this. There's no question if and buts about it. Like everyone was on the same deal. Like it very rarely happens ever. So for us to all be a part of it, and like I said, I just gotta feel lucky because it's like a powerlifting lifetime is not very long. Maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 if you're lucky. So it's like for something like this to happen, like in our go of it, you know what I mean, is pretty damn cool.
Well, I think the cool thing too is like everybody is, like nobody's kind of falling off the other side of the hill, right? Like everybody still has some weight to add to the bar, which is really, really cool. Like I got two questions for you guys about the meet. The first one is just a yes or no question. Do you know if I don't care about weight classes on the day, but do you know if we're going to get slotted in our weight class? Like we would have to be, right, to be at open powerlifting.
Yeah, so it'll be like abs. It's like when you do class, you'll have a weigh-in, but there's no winning off a weight.
Okay, sweet. So I'll win the throw weights because I'll be the only one in it because Fern's gonna.
So how will they do it on open powerlifting? Just put it as what your weight was that day is.
Yeah. They automatically plug it in. So like when I weighed in for abs, there was no weight class I was plugged into, but I weighed 279. So open powerlifting automatically put me through a weight.
Okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
My next question, and it's like a mock draft the day after the Super Bowl. Who's your guys' pick for taking it?
Me.
Dude, I think I'll be
Frank Allen.
Yeah, dude, that guy's got a very distinct advantage over all of us using that bar, squatting very big on that bar, benching very heavy on that. I mean, he squats as much as most of us, more than he squats over he squatted at 939. 930.
Yeah.
Or 931. Yeah.
And he benches over 6, right?
620, 630.
Pulls like 860.
He's done. He did 826 in a meet, but if he can hold on to it, he can pull 900. So it's like
that was, and he figured out a little bit of it. I think he's very underrated. I think as strong as he is, because I've heard of him before, but then I spotted and loaded at that meet he did last May, and just seeing I was there. Like as big as he is, like he's just like really quick too. Like I was expecting a slow descent. The dude just literally dropped 900. I almost caught my finger on the rack for bench because he doesn't slowly come down. He just comes down and goes up. And then with the dead's the same. Like he had another 30 pounds, maybe 20 pounds to add.
What was he? He's
I think if he had a coach, he'd be a lot better.
Like, oh, he is a coach? I figured he doesn't have a coach.
Like if you look at it, he's like 900 plus on the Mars bar and then 650 with the 2 block. And then like every week it's like crazy fucking lifts. Like there's no And then he had a random spur where he was doing strongman shit, and he pulled like over 900 with straps and a little hitching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
His training is like all over the place, but he's like just one hell of a lifter.
So he was a USAPL guy, right?
He still is.
He is. He still is.
So we have to beat him now, is what you're saying. We can.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
we're gonna try. We're gonna talk all this shit about their meat being across the road. They sent one guy over and beat us. That's not a good look.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll have to deal with that.
Yeah, he legit dominate the super heavyweights in USAPL. There's like nobody who would really compete with him.
Yeah, so that's why he's coming over. That's why he's coming over with us.
He doesn't do powerlifting in America, so he does.
I don't think he's going with us based off of comp. Like he wants comp, but I think he's just one of those guys which I like a lot. He just likes competing. Like he likes someone. He likes a challenge because like prime time last year that he did, literally nobody even remotely close to him. There was like no challenger.
Yeah.
I think this is like probably the first meet he'd be doing where he's kind of like
push
a legit roster of anybody could beat him on their day. You know what I mean?
I don't think I got a meet this year where I'm left alone. I think one of you is at every meet to ruin my day.
I think that's good though, bro, because
100%.
Think about how like we talk about how like mental and how like you want to prepare for XYZ or whatever. Think how if you're not used to that and you're not used to being at meets with other people, like that'll be a big like the craziest thing I think is going to be this warm-up room for squats, and we're all going to be working up, and it's going to be like 2 or 3 combo racks, whatever it is. It's going to be a lot of fucking
egos,
male fucking cheap
a lot of egos,
a lot of egos.
No, just shove that one guy in the corner and let him do his own thing.
Yeah. Well, I think the funny, I think my favorite story from the pro was literally, I think it was me. I know you were there, Pat, but there was somebody else warming up on our monolift, and we just had like a Mexican standoff of, "Oh no, you go first. Oh no, you go first." And then finally, Shane's like, "Justin, you're going. Get your knees wrapped." Okay, I'm sorry, I got my knees wrapped. Like,
there was a unique Phil.
Oh yeah. It's like, no, you please, no, you. It's like,
I'm using that damn monolift, and it's like I'm getting it all set for everybody. The hooks don't go in easily at all.
No.
The pin to rest the actual bar height or the rack height bent, so like it's like about to like cut through the thing. Like the monolift really broke like in the middle of the warm up room, dude.
Yeah,
So,
I gotta take the piss up right back.
Yeah. Well, I think the cool thing too is like, I mean, now that Fernando's gone because he's on part of this, is we're all doing ghost too.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Fernando's my handler.
But he's.
We're gonna be. I don't know anyone else besides. I think
I'm gonna have a 20-year-old as my handler.
I was gonna ask who else we know is coming. Who else is coming?
Phil's gonna be in, but he's gonna be in sleeves.
I think Grisby's still. I don't know if Grisby was doing it. I don't know if he still is.
He's out. We gotta wait for that roster. They're not gonna release that roster until like another 3 or 4 weeks. But
that's. I mean, I know injuries happen, all that stuff, but the rate that people pull out of meets, it should be more done just like day-to-day life. People shouldn't have people should have the same pull-out game for meets they do with freaking people. Like it's like, oh, great. I'm super excited to compete with. Oh no, they're not doing it. But what about no? He's not doing it. Okay.
And then they don't announce. They don't announce when they pull it out. So you fucking get there to meet.
Well, yeah, that's why I was so frustrated with. I forgot his name. I know Fernando will remember it because he's a big European guy. But there was the one guy. Oh, Chris, right? Chris is supposed to come out to the first Ghost. And I was kind of sitting there like, not on the prime flight, not on the prime flight, not on the prime flight. You know, it's not a pun, but he just ghosted Alex. And last minute I put on the prime flight. And it was kind of the same thing with the pro on this one. We were waiting and they don't tell you till the last minute. It's like, just if you're not going to do the meet, just tell them.
That's just like inconsiderate as like, just like you're saying, like tell them. Does anyone that just like go, like they just don't show up to the meet. They don't tell the director. They don't tell anything else because there's people on the wait list that kind of runs over them too.
Exactly, right? No, I'm excited for it. Ghost is going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun.
I would have loved
to. Pat's talking about storylines. We got me and Justin at 308. We got fucking Pat and Craig in sleeves at super heavyweight. Like, I mean,
Phil's Dodds is going to be up there potentially. I don't know. Is Hack doing it?
It's Hack, Jamal, and Blake.
Jamal.
Jesus.
Walk away.
Yeah.
Huh?
That is a stacked prime flight. Holy
the three best raw dot scores ever, all in the same meet at the same time.
They better just line us all up and go. Like, what? Who else are you gonna have on there?
I think the last fight's going to be the nastiest fight in my opinion.
That's gonna be a
Yeah.
very smelly warm-up room though.
Yeah.
What?
That's not gonna be a
Yeah,
good
it's
smelly
tight
warm-up
back there.
room.
That's the same warm up room that Craig used at the you squatted at
US
that venue before, Craig.
Yeah, it's the one I did. I did a USPA meet there.
Yeah.
It's small. It'll probably be enough room because it won't be as many people, but it's pretty little small.
Wait,
It's at a brewery.
You guys
yeah,
are taking sound, no?
we did
Yeah,
it last year. We were at that venue last year, were we not?
Oh, you was it the same one from last year?
We were talking about
I
ghosts,
thought-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I heard it was a
the same
different. I heard it
brewery.
was. I heard it was a different brewery.
Oh, it's a
from,
different brewery now.
yeah.
Oh.
I think it's called like the Tank or something. They
Yeah.
sent an email
I
about
thought,
it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a tank brewery last year.
Yeah, because I competed at the Tank Brewery. It's nice.
I love how they know their fan base. It's like, let's just get a bunch of powerlifters and just stick them in a brewery. That'll be a good idea.
Burgers and beer. Burgers and beer.
I mean,
Good
if
for the
it
spectators.
was inside a Pizza Hut, it'd be more effective.
Honestly, it'd be better.
You know, if they put on a meet at a Denny's, I'd be in.
Make it a Waffle House.
I like IHOP better. IHOP guy.
You like McDonald's, bro. Don't be lying.
Oh yeah, meet at McDonald's. Caught me in.
He's loving it.
Yeah,
I have a deflux meal tonight, and I'm like, what do I even eat? It's like the value of food has gone way up, and I'm just like, I'm like a 12-year-old kid who just got my first $100 paycheck from like pushing around carts at the grocery store, and I'm like, I don't know what to get. I don't want to just spend it on like video games and candy. I don't want
But
to
you
waste.
do.
I would.
Yeah, see, I hate food. I don't like any food. Food sucks. I hate all of it. If I would eat,
so
like,
Is this your announcement? You're cutting to 220?
I've thought about 275.
Dude, that's not a good cut for any of us.
I think
No,
we got
I don't, you and I
don't.
don't look the same. So I got weight I could lose to get down.
It's easy.
But
It's easy to say it. It's hard to get down there.
No, I know. I know. It's I also like I got total goals and shit. Like if I can, next weekend, like Fern's sitting here saying he's going for 2,400 because he's not a real friend. Supposed to hurt my feeling in my home gym. Fucking come to my house and kick my dog.
You wanted to call me. You
I
said.
know. No, I know. I'm just shut up. I'm being dramatic. Shut up, Fern. I'll tell you when to speak. It's like if I can match my total in sleeves, it's like, hey, I know 24 is happening in April.
Yeah.
If I can squat 9 in sleeves, I know I have a grand. It's not a question.
I think you actually out total your rep total.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do it by
Grab
2.5
the day you
kilos.
want. I think you're out totaling your rep. You're going
Yeah.
23. And
Well,
That goes
Exactly.
back to my first thing because I've been at the 2347 for a little bit. And I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys are like this, but like that's not a round number. That's not 2350. That's
No.
like 3 pounds off. You know what I mean? Like that's not 2300 or like when someone goes 2199 or 799 or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something about that. Like there's an OCD
Real friends,
that
no,
my head.
799. 799 is the number no one's allowed to take.
Dude, that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's like 799.8 or something. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
as
like
close as you can get.
that is the worst number.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No, it's what was it, 999 or 998?
998 is 450 even, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whatever
450
Jesus
is
squatted at that one meet.
992 or something. So
992 is 450. Yeah,
so
yeah,
452.5 is that.
Yeah, that's got to be the worst because it's like just sack up and put on 1,003. Gee willikers.
Yeah, well,
So, yeah.
that's what
Extra digits.
that's what the Canadian squat record is. I mean, I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on shipping records and whatnot, but my only kind of thing was like, eventually I'm going to want to take a run at that record. I'm not going to rush it, but like if it's there, like I would really love to chip that record, but I can't because I compete in the States because it's not a national record, so I can't chip it.
have to do
So
it.
I have to go to 1,008.
Who has it?
Brad Shepard, he did it.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, he did that. He did that. I back spotted that one. And
He's a strong
It was like-
squatter.
it was when
He's very
him,
strong.
it was Seth, and there was another dude that were all like in the mid 9s out of like nowhere,
Bruno,
basically. Like
Bruno's a
that guy.
270. Is Bruno 275? Bruno's a 275. And the thing is like Brad.
Yeah, what did he squat? 903?
Brad
Oh
squatted
no, no,
1,003.
that Bruno guy.
Like
Bru-
937 or something like that.
No.
Yeah,
925.
no.
he came out of nowhere. I forgot who reposted him, and I was like, oh, this guy's strong as shit. I was like, I need to follow.
All three of them were at the same meet. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, the issue that particular day, once again, just like thinking about bars and whatnot, is they use the Texas squat bar. And it
The squat bar
completely
is a good bar, though.
I love
it's
it.
too,
Not a big fan
we
of
all
it.
hate it up here. It's too whippy.
I'm not a big fan of it.
So
Seth,
you're,
Seth
You
was
gotta
explaining about
control
the
it.
floor to me. He said the
It-
floor had it was like turf with like a platform on it or something like that. That's what he was
So
saying. That was
Where?
like
Brad squatted 1,000, Bruno squatted 925, Seth squatted 903, and then Kelly Branton, he's on a drug ban right now. I don't know if he's retired or not, but he's 942. So he hasn't been sleeved.
But he sleeps.
mhm.
Yeah, he's sleeves.
Have
yeah,
you met Kelly Blanton?
Brand.
Is this
Brand.
going on? Is this going on air?
Shane loves correcting people with names, man.
I ain't editing anything.
I was spelling Richie's name wrong this whole time.
No, I don't.
I
I
thought it
don't
was
know.
Blanton this whole
People
time.
messaged me
missed
thinking
them.
it was Ricky. People think it was talking to him thinking it was Ricky. So you just because you spelled it wrong, at least you were saying it right.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, no, I don't have a lot of I don't know, this might be a hot take, but it's not for me. I don't have a whole lot of respect for people who get popped and fucking lie about it after.
It was the pre-workout, bro. He was taking pre-workout and he popped hot.
Seven compounds.
7 things in the pre-workout, like Reach Super Free. It has
This is
7
a fucking KFC.
Pre-work, yeah.
There ain't no fucking
I would have.
herbs.
Did he ever say
Special
what was the
blend
name
of
of the
herbs and
pre-workout?
spices.
It was the Jack
he blamed Canadian protein for it. Then there's other shit going around. This can't go online. Fucking Pat, don't do this.
Wait, hold on. Let me
Stop the
pause.
recording. Stop the recording.
That's that's
Uh,
my 2 cents.
we paused to talk about different ice cream flavors for those.
Cookies and cream.
Consensus was that Oreo cookies are not chocolate cookies.
Period. And on that note, we're gonna wrap this up here. Justin, we appreciate you coming on the podcast today,
Thanks, boys.
boys.
Appreciate you, boys.
This is I mean, it's like this is always easy when it's just like a couple of us, but even then, like just like having all your boys on here, and especially like with 5 of us, like this is like 2 hours that just went by like hella quick. So we appreciate you coming on here, boys.
Thank you.
Good luck to you guys next weekend.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Are they live streaming that at all, or is it gonna just be like?
Yeah, Canada's trying to bring up the live stream kind of quality and whatnot. So they're gonna have commentators similar to A1. It won't be like the same level of cameras, but we're catching up pretty quick. So it's gonna be a good live stream. And actually, a quick note for you, Fernando, because you're right here right now. We are actually going to be squatting on the platform in warm-ups. So they're
dope.
So
because we're gonna be warming up on the platform, like
yeah.
Why is that?
A couple reasons. First and foremost, because they have one mono. That's the reason. Well, they were going to take it from us 10 minutes out. And I'm like, there's no way I'm taking a 25-minute break between my last warm up and my opener.
Yeah.
Not a fucking chance. So and this is actually kind of cool too, because like I think it's just going to be really me, you, Scory, that know how to use the mono. So it'll be really just us out there.
Doing it?
Pardon?
Is what's her name again from New York? She was supposed to do it. I forget her name.
And the recording.
Oh.